One key concern for Ghana and other African countries' democracy has been the monetization of our electoral process, the continuous decline in the trust in democracy, and the insurgence of military coups in some countries around Ghana. Speaking at the launch of an Open Society Foundation and the International Development Economics Associates report on democratic governance and economic justice here at the University of Ghana, Chairman of the Constitutional Review Committee, Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, who delivered the keynote address, bemoaned some of these challenges and how they pose threat to Ghana and Africa's growing democracy.
Candidates are putting up millions of dollars, tens of millions. At the presidential level, over $100 billion is what it takes. Actually, that is like 2,000 number. Currently, it's probably double or triple. We don't even know. That's the problem, right? You need about $200 million probably to win a presidential contest. How many of you here are ever going to be in that category, in that cohort of candidates, right? Even the parliamentary level, including at the primary level. But if you have rules like you have to nurture the constituency. What does that mean? You understand what it means. Before you are chosen by the party oligarchs at the constituency level, you must prove that you have nurtured the constituency. It's one of the rules in some of the parties. What does that mean? You must have fed them while you were out of power or in power with a lot of money.
Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh also gave some update on the work of the committee, especially on the conversation around Article 146 and when the final report will be ready for submission to the president.
Everywhere we went, it was a very topical issue, and at the time of the public engagements, the process had not concluded. It concluded after our public engagements, but almost everybody and almost everywhere we went, it was an issue. And people are concerned, right? Because if you're going to have a situation where whenever there's party turnover in government, a new government comes and says, you know, these are independent office holders or bodies, but I can't work with this one, I can't work with that one. That precedent has to stop at some point. The deadline we negotiated basically takes us to the end of September, right? So by the end of September, we should have a report ready to deliver to the president. So that's where we are. We are deliberating, agreeing on recommendations on the key issues and that kind of stuff.
The lead researcher and author of this report, Professor Ndongo Samba Sylla, said although the military takeover of democratic governance should only be limited to Francophone countries for now, other governments must prioritize the provision of job as well as education for the youth in order to prevent such spillovers to other countries.
Basically, the report suggests that we should aspire to a universal public services program. What is a universal public service program? That means that there are a number of goods and services that are necessary for a free and dignified life. And these have to be provided by the government. You see, for example, access to health care, access to, nutritious food, access to universal education, and access also to jobs, ending unemployment. Since 2020, there have been 9 successful coups. 8 happened in Francophone countries, because in Francophone countries, they have a particular neo-colonial problem. France has been interfering in their politics, stabilizing, long-time, leaders who don't want to leave power.
The two entities are hoping that government across African regions adopt this report in order to improve upon democracy and development across the sub-region. From the University of Ghana campus here in Accra, I am James Savaji reporting for Joy News.